RedZone weather in Brewton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Megginson. A tropical weather update starts right now.
Ian continues to strengthen on this Monday morning in the western part of the Caribbean Sea, and over the next few days, the storm is set to move to the north toward the Florida Peninsula. Good Monday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. Hope you're having a nice start to your week. Ian set to move into the eastern Gulf of Mexico tomorrow into Wednesday, ahead of a likely landfall in the Florida Peninsula or the Big Bend region as we get into Thursday or Friday. Likely to become a major hurricane tomorrow in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. The National Hurricane Center forecast continues to ramp this storm up to Category 4 intensity by the time we get to Wednesday. Let's look at the local forecast, and this is valid for South Alabama and Northwest Florida. Today could have a few spotty showers and thunderstorms around, particularly closer to the coast this evening. Most spots going to peak around 88 this afternoon, and we do have cooler, drier air set to filter in throughout the day. Tonight, we will have cooler temperatures in play. In fact, some spots inland will be in the upper 50s by the time we get to Tuesday morning, near 60 closer to the coast. Today will actually be the warmest day out of the next 5 to 7 days, as we do have some cooler air coming in around the large counterclockwise circulation associated with Ian, set to be a bit cooler by the time we get into the middle part of the week. We'll come back at the end and show you the local projected radar today, but our top weather story on this Monday continues to be Ian in the Caribbean Sea, moving off to the north-northwest this morning, and this storm is going to impact the Florida Peninsula and the Big Bend region, probably as a hurricane, maybe even a major hurricane. And it does look like this forecast will continue to verify as confidence is increasing now in the idea that we will see more in the way of impacts for the peninsula of Florida and not as much in the panhandle. As is always the case with these tropical systems, the east is the beast and the west is the best, meaning if you have to deal with a hurricane, you want to be on the western side. And it does look like the Florida panhandle region generally probably going to be on the western side of this as it comes in somewhere in the Big Bend or in the peninsula. So let's look at one model of how it may happen. This is the GFS. That's the cone of uncertainty from the Hurricane Center. And Ian is going to continue to move north, strengthening most likely today before merging into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico at some point tomorrow from western Cuba. By the way, got a hurricane warning in effect for much of western Cuba on this Monday morning ahead of the arrival of Ian. And it does look like that by the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, Ian will probably be a major hurricane situated somewhere just to the east of Tampa and Fort Myers here in the Florida Peninsula. And so a likely landfall point in between, say, Cedar Key back down to Fort Myers is kind of the zone of the coastline that we've honed in on where this system will probably come ashore. If you're in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, areas near even Naples, back up to Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Cedar Key, areas near Orlando, be ready for potential hurricane impacts as Ian comes ashore later this week. Again, this model takes the thing inland in the Big Bend region of Florida, very near where the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center is at this point. Further forecast changes will be possible, but as I said, confidence is increasing in the overall pattern here that will bring Ian ashore later this week somewhere in the state of Florida. Here's the projected rain over the next 5 days, and for our local area in southwest Alabama and northwest Florida, 1 to 2 inches of rain, but I wouldn't be shocked if these projection numbers came down a bit over the next few days, as it looks like the core rain event is going to be in the state of Florida and southern Georgia. In fact, let's kind of shift the map view so you can see the peninsula. Look at this, 6-7 inches of rain possible across the Florida peninsula in the days ahead. Big time rain event as Ian moves through later this week. And again, our area kind of on the western flank, on the outskirt of this, and so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Probably will have some showers on the eastern side of our region associated with Ian as we get into Thursday and Friday, but I'm not expecting a big bad rain event across our local area. The big rain going to happen to our east. By the way, elsewhere in the tropics, things are fairly quiet other than Ian in the western Caribbean Sea. We are tracking one tropical wave here about halfway between Africa and the Lesser Antilles. Low end probabilities that that system becomes a named storm over the next few days. No threat to land over the next 5 days. Now, let's shift gears and talk about temperatures because we do have a fairly significant change on the way. Highs out there today going to be in the mid 80s to around 90 closer to the coast, but look at this. Tonight, yes indeed, we've got 50s on the way for areas near the US Highway 84 corridor. Again, closer to 60, closer to the immediate coast. A refreshing fall change coming in behind a cold front. And tomorrow, it does look like temperatures will be significantly cooler. Highs around 85 near the beaches, but look at this. Inland, there probably will be some 70s on the board for afternoon highs. Really feeling nice in here on Tuesday with much cooler, much drier air. And let's look at the projected radar today. This is off the high-res rapid refresh model. And you can see a few blips on the radar as we get into the evening hours across mainly coastal areas. Could have a few showers as early as, say, 10 a.m. across inland counties, but I do think there could be a few downpours this evening closer to the Alabama and Northwest Florida beaches, mainly in areas south of Interstate 10, like Pensacola, Fairhope, areas near Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Foley, and Destin. Those areas have the highest rain chances as we go into the evening hours. Even there, though, not a surefire thing that we will have rain. Across the nation, you got to look hard to find the severe weather threat zone today. It's right here in South Florida and parts of the Keys. Low-end tornado risk associated with Ian later tonight as the system continues moving to the north. Wouldn't be surprised to see a severe weather risk in terms of a tornado threat introduced for later this week for parts of the Florida Peninsula, places like Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete. That area could have a few tornadoes later this week associated with Ian. And again, locally general thunderstorms possible near the coast later this evening. Here's your next 7 days. Look at those high temperatures. Wow. Going to have mid 70s on the board for Thursday. And then a few showers perhaps in the western outer part of Ian, but that's questionable. These rain chances may need to be knocked down a bit as we get closer to the end of the week. That's something we'll be watching in the days ahead. Overall, a fairly quiet weather pattern upcoming over the next 4 days locally. Those highs going to be in the lower 80s tomorrow. Really feeling nice in here as we get into the middle part of the week. Overnight lows going to be in the upper 50s by the time we get to tomorrow morning. I'll have many more updates posted throughout the day in the RedZone weather app. Hope you have a wonderful start to your week.
Be sure to find us across social media and don't forget to download the free RedZone weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our RedZone weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.